And we went up there during half term.
You okay? How's your family adjusting?
Well, he's left a giant-sized hole in our lives.
I promised her. These 3 words from Duchess Sophie have sent shockwaves through the royal establishment. After decades of silence, Sophie has finally revealed her secret pact with Princess Diana.
Then we would like to, we've been trying to, but of course it's still not that easy. And of course the normal way of things isn't normal yet.
That changes everything we thought we knew about the royal family's power structure. What if the true guardian of Diana's legacy isn't William or Harry, but the quiet, unassuming Duchess who's been hiding in plain sight? Sophie's revelation exposes how the monarchy has been secretly operating since Diana's death, and why Queen Elizabeth trusted her more than anyone else in the family. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favour. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video.
So I think the whole grieving process is probably likely for us to take a lot longer. It may be the same for many other families out there. Because if you're not living with somebody.
What if everything we thought we knew about royal power dynamics has been completely wrong all along? While the world's eyes have been fixed on the glittering stars of the monarchy, Diana, Kate, even Meghan, there's been a silent force working behind the scenes, gradually becoming the most trusted figure in the royal household. That force is Sophie, Duchess of Edinburgh. For decades, Sophie has operated in the shadows while more glamorous royals took centre stage. This wasn't accidental, it was strategic. Unlike those who sought the spotlight, Sophie embraced a different path, one that would ultimately grant her unprecedented access to the monarchy's inner sanctum. Sophie's journey into royal life bears striking parallels to Diana's own entrance. Both came from outside the aristocratic inner circle, both married the Queen's sons, and both faced the crushing weight of royal expectations. But while Diana's relationship with the institution became increasingly fraught, Sophie found ways to navigate the labyrinth of royal politics with remarkable skill. Her approach to royal life couldn't have been more different from the flashier members of the family. While others demanded extensive security details and indulged in lavish expenses, Sophie quietly requested minimal protection and maintained relatively modest spending habits. This practical approach didn't go unnoticed by Queen Elizabeth, who had grown weary of family members who seemed more interested in privileges than responsibilities. What few royal watchers realised was that Sophie was steadily becoming the Queen's closest female confidant. Not Princess Anne, not Camilla. It was Sophie who the Queen turned to during her final years, creating a surrogate mother-daughter relationship that surprised even senior courtiers. Their bond grew so strong that palace insiders began referring to Sophie as the Queen's secret weapon. Throughout the tumultuous years of royal scandals, from Prince Andrew's disgrace to Harry and Meghan's departure, Sophie remained steadfastly reliable, never leaking to the press, never seeking attention, always supporting the monarchy's core functions. This unwavering loyalty positioned her perfectly to become the guardian of the royal family's most sensitive secrets. Perhaps most intriguing is the mysterious phrase allegedly uttered by Sophie in private company: "I promised her." These 3 words have sent royal observers into a frenzy of speculation. Who was her? What was promised? The answer appears to be more shocking than anyone could have imagined. Those 3 words, "I promised her," weren't just casual conversation, but the quiet echo of a pact that has silently shaped the monarchy for decades. While royal commentators scrambled to decode their meaning, the true significance runs deeper than anyone realised. Sophie wasn't just making a promise to the Queen, but honouring a secret agreement with Diana herself that would fundamentally alter the royal family's trajectory. The royal family's recent reshuffling seems baffling at first glance. Why would Sophie suddenly take on increased responsibilities in the wake of Queen Elizabeth's passing? The answer lies in an arrangement formed years ago when 2 women from outside the aristocratic establishment recognised in each other a shared understanding of what the monarchy should become. Both Diana and Sophie encountered similar struggles navigating royal life as outsiders. While their public interactions were limited, their private connection went far deeper. They shared a vision for a more accessible, compassionate monarchy, one that would eventually be led by William. This shared perspective formed the foundation of their secret understanding. When the monarchy faced its darkest moments, Harry and Meghan's departure, Prince Andrew's disgrace, Sophie didn't retreat. Instead, she stepped forward, taking on duties that protected and strengthened William's position. This wasn't coincidental timing. Her increased visibility at precisely the moments when Diana's bloodline needed reinforcement reveals a deliberate strategy, decades in the making. Look at how Sophie has positioned herself during royal controversies. While other royals chose sides or distanced themselves entirely, Sophie has consistently aligned with William and Catherine's interests. She's become the reliable presence that Diana herself might have been, had fate allowed it. The contrast couldn't be clearer between Sophie's unwavering commitment and the actions of royals who've withdrawn from public duties. As Prince Andrew and the Sussexes stepped back, Sophie stepped up, assuming responsibilities that maintained stability during transitional periods and protecting the monarchy's reputation when it was most vulnerable. Most telling is Sophie's emerging relationship with Diana's grandchildren. She's developed a special mentoring role with Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis, exactly what Diana would have wanted for her grandchildren. Sophie has even taken up causes that parallel Diana's own passionate advocacy, continuing the legacy Diana began. The evidence points to an extraordinary conclusion. Before her death, Diana extracted a promise from Sophie to safeguard William's future and ensure her vision for a modernised monarchy would survive. Sophie's elevated status today isn't merely coincidental, it's the culmination of a solemn vow made decades ago. When the monarchy's curtain finally falls on this dramatic era, we'll all be left staring at the quiet heroine who's been pulling strings from the wings. The future of the royal institution doesn't just rest with Charles or William, but with Sophie, the unassuming confidant who Diana entrusted with her most sacred hopes for the monarchy's evolution. As William grows closer to ascending the throne, royal experts predict Sophie's influence will expand even further. She's positioning herself to become one of the monarchy's most valuable assets, precisely when William needs her steadfast support most. His appreciation for her unwavering dedication during tumultuous periods speaks volumes about the trust Diana instilled years ago. The truly remarkable aspect isn't merely what promises were exchanged between these two outsiders turned insiders. It's that Sophie has been methodically fulfilling them for decades, while we've all been distracted by flashier headlines. In the grand chess game of royal politics, Sophie has proven herself the most strategic player, quietly advancing Diana's vision piece by piece until it's too late for anyone to stop it.